The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see?
All right, welcome once again. My name is Farmer Christopher of Journey to Zero Hunger Foundation. And today we are going to be doing the transplanting of the cabbage that we planted on the 28th of February 2025. Okay, if you have watched the videos that I've sent, that's the part one, part two, part three. This is going to be the part four. And here we'll do before we do the transplanting, I'll quickly like to talk about weed control because this is very important in the production of cabbage. If you look down there, you are going to see that there are lots of weeds. Now, if you don't control weeds, you are kind of creating an enabling environment for microorganisms to thrive. And we don't want this. We want a situation whereby the lesser the weed, the lesser the organisms that can affect your crop, the lesser the diseases, the lesser the insect infestation on your crop. So we are going to look at three ways of controlling weed on the farm. The first one we are going to be looking at is the chemical method. This is like the most popular. All you just have to do is apply herbicide to the soil. Okay, there are two types of herbicide. Let me break it down for you. There are two types based on the active ingredients in the chemical. We have one that has the active ingredient glyphosate. We also have another that have active ingredient paraquat. Okay, now glyphosate is a systemic herbicide. And what do you mean by systemic? If you spray it on the plant, it is going to slowly enter into the system of the plant. This takes a very long time. It takes up to 7 days before it enters into the system down to the root of the plant. Then you start seeing the plant dying after like 11 days. So when you apply glyphosate or a systemic herbicide like that, it takes about 2 months before such crop can grow again if you do it properly. Now, the glyphosate can also be selective and non-selective. I think we have a class on that different so that we will not mix it up. So we have systemic and contact. Any herbicide rich in glyphosate is systemic. Any herbicide rich in paraquat is contact. And when we say contact, it's like the opposite of systemic. When the chemical is sprayed on the weed, immediately in like 3-4 hours you start seeing the effect. What it does is it attacks the chlorophyll in the plant. That's the green pigment. What makes the plant green? It attacks it. It changes every part of the plant that is green that it touches. That's why it's contact. If it touches a point on the on the weed, that point becomes yellow. So if it can attack all the chlorophyll, all the green pigments on the plant and the plant becomes yellow, such plants will not be able to photosynthesize again. It will not be able to manufacture its own food, so it will die. However, it dies faster. The whole crop dies faster but grows again faster than when you use the systemic. For example, you can use paraquat. Maybe you are expecting a visitor. You are expecting a visitor in 3-4 days. Your compound is bushy. All you just have to do is apply paraquat or apply a herbicide rich in paraquat. If you apply it today, by the fourth day, everything is dead. So everywhere looks okay. But for glyphosate, you apply it today, that fourth day, it has not even shown any sign that it's going to die. So what you are expecting and the time period matters. But I always prefer on the farm you use a herbicide rich in glyphosate. But at home, You can always use, or at business places where you have people coming all the time, you can use the one rich in paraquat. Okay, that's for chemical method. Another method is the physical method. This is the one you are all used to. It's popular also. It involves the use of hoe, cutlass or shovel to clear the weed. The advantage of this is that you determine it's cleared immediately. As you are cutting it, you know you are cutting it. You are not waiting for 2 to 3 days before you start seeing the effects of the cut. You cut, you cut. You understand? Now, the disadvantage of this is that majority of the time you leave the root in the soil, so it grows faster. So as you are cutting, the next rain is the next leaf. The next rain, everywhere turns green. So that is a problem, unlike the chemical method. Chemical method, if you have sprayed it, even if the next rain comes, the chemical must continue to kill, because that's no respect for the rain. And the last method which I'll be talking about, and it's the one I like the most, but it's most capital intensive, and it's not so easy. Yeah, it's more capital intensive on a large land. Okay, is what we call the cultural method. There are so many methods to control weed culturally. There are so many methods to control weed culturally. You have crop rotation, can control weed. Mulching is another method. There are others, there are many. So, but the one I'm going to talk about today is mulching as a form of weed control. And this has to do with taking dry leaves, and putting it at the base of your crop. When you do that, the sun, if there are weeds there and you cover the ground, the sun is unable to get to the plant, so the plant is unable to photosynthesize, so the plant starves to death. That is cultural method. It is organic, it is natural, we call it cultural. The advantage is it is organic. All right, you are not applying any chemical, you are not changing the structure of the soil, you are not tilling the soil and causing probably erosion or something like that. You are leaving the soil the way it is, while at the same time you are eradicating the weed by denying it access to sunlight. The disadvantage is the cost, because if you are going to do one, you want to farm a plot of land and you want to mulch one plot of land, that's a lot of cost. There are industrially made mulch film that you can always buy, but I prefer to, because those, they don't, in 1 or 2 cycles they are gone. You have to change them in every cycle. What I mean by cycle is, you plant cabbage today, in 3 months you harvest. By the time you are planting again, you need to get another field. That's a disadvantage. So I you see at the back here, I have a small kind of mulch system. This is what it looks like. It has perforations, that's holes where you are going to plant. You can see there are weeds all over, but after some weeks, after 2 weeks, these weeds don't have access to sunlight, they start dying off. They die off under the mulch. So this is called a plastic mulch. It's not natural using dry leaf. You get a film and cover. So we are going to plant in between this space. Different mulch have different spacing of holes. The hole spaces, and you can even buy the one that does not have any spacing at all. So if you buy the one that does, so you are able to make your own spacing depending on the crop that you want to plant there. And they are usually of different colors. All these things require a video on its own, so let's not bombard ourselves with a lot. The main reason we are here today is transplanting, so let's get to it. All right, so we are transplanting today. Here's our 16-day-old cabbage. Normally, we should transplant in 3 to 4 weeks, depending on the observation. But these guys are big enough for transplanting. So we are going to do our transplanting today. Yes, you should not transplant under sunlight, but for the purpose of this video, we need to do it at this time, just for the purpose of this video. We are not going to transplant everything, just for you to learn 1 or 2 things to be able to see, because by the time it's evening, we are not going to have a clearer picture, and also for availability. All right, now for those that have been asking, how do you transplant from the seed tray? It's quite simple. Now you can see these crops that you want to transfer that are matured enough, the young. What you do is, underneath, I don't know if you can see that, you press. It's soft, so when you press, hold this crop at the stem, then press. When you press, you can see how it's coming out like that. Okay, you can see the roots are together, the crop, the soil comes out with it, and that's why a lot of times we like to use seed tray, so the roots are not damaged, nothing happens, and this makes it firmer and good for. So I'm going to use, let me transplant it here. For example, I just have to dig. Yeah, use this stick and dig up, dig up, dig up. Yes, like that. I'm going to place my cabbage in there. There are two. I'll place the two for now and kill one later. It's a process called thinning. Thinning is the removal of excess or weak seedlings, and one of them is excess. We don't know. We are planting the two, hoping that the two will survive, but we need one. So along the line, let me remove these guys. Along the line, we are going to remove one. We are going to remove one. That's thinning. Okay, you can see that's all. Let me do another one. Yeah, let me remove another. So you can see, I'm going to press underneath. Yeah, when I press, the soil comes up while I hold at the stem. Hold the stem, not the leaf. So you press, you can see how it's coming out, then you lift with the stem. You can see the roots are intact. That's the benefit of planting a nursery tray. The leaves are intact. Then we transplant. Let me transplant again. Yeah. So transplant it here. I'll just hold the stem and drop it while I use the soil to support. Use the soil to support, and that's all. That's all. So after, we'll transplant everything off camera, and we will not do everything so that the video will not be too long. But that's the basics of transplanting. So when we've done this, all you just have to do is wet lightly, and that will be all. Okay, thank you.